Okay, Blitz Molin here. Blitz Molin Fab. Working on my battery. Mounting my battery in the trunk. And I've got an Optima battery. And I'm going to put it right here in the middle. Right here up between where the old shock mounts used to be. Pretty much just centered it in. And going to drill a couple holes and mount it right in there and see how that works out for me so I can get this wiring started. So that's where I'm starting off right now. I'll be back. Alrighty, well, I got the plate mounted in and just put some bolts through it, got underneath it, and I've got it mounted in the back. So there's my battery mounted, sitting in the trunk, just kind of put it in the middle. Not really any big deal, but I've got it bolted into the plate, and all it's got is it just sits down there inside that plate, and then it's just got a plate right here with a couple bolts, and then it's got a plate in the back with a couple of bolts, the same thing, just like this plate right here. There's one on the back side that sits there, and it's just got a couple bolts to it. So just had to kind of sneak around behind it, but there it is for right now. That's my start on getting my battery mounted, and first step in working on my wiring. So I'll be back. Alrighty, well, like I said, I got my battery mounted, and I mounted a circuit breaker right over here on the side. It's a resettable circuit breaker. It's 150 amp. I covered my leads with just some Amazon wire loom covering, plastic wire loom covering, just to give it a little bit more protection. So that's where I'm at so far. I'm gonna start snaking it up through to the front, and then I'm gonna come over here and probably look at where I'm gonna put my ground. I think I'm gonna take my ground straight off the battery to the body. I'm gonna go through with a big bolt, and then I'm gonna go to the frame underneath. So I think that's how I'm gonna ground it. I don't think I'm gonna run a full ground cable. So I'll be back. Okay, just a quick shot. This is what I ordered. I just ordered a 100-foot roll of 1/2 inch. This is from a company called Alex Tech. So I have a 1/2 inch 100-foot roll, and then I have a 1/4 inch 100-foot roll. So this is that stuff that you just kind of take it and squeeze it. Just kind of take it and push it, and it makes itself bigger, and then you slide it over the wires. And all I do is just take a little piece of shrink sleeving at the end of it and just put a little collar or shrink sleeving around it. So works good, not expensive at all. If I can, I'll find a link and throw a link in there. Okay, so I showed you how I had my battery mounted. Got my power cables to my computer sitting right here. One's gonna go to the ground and one's gonna go to the hot positive. I came off my battery, put a ground cable right here to the body. I went underneath and ran a ground cable from underneath to the frame. So that's how I've got my ground set up. Didn't run my ground all the way to the front, but I've got some ground straps. Also, I got a circuit breaker. I think it's a 150 amp circuit breaker, and then I ran my power cable right over here. There's a big open area, put a grommet. So let me walk around to the other side of the car, and I'll show you what I did with that. Okay, I don't know how well you guys can see it, but there's my power cable coming through. I just ran it right down around this edge of the wheel well, and right down this, there's like a cable tray here, and it has a metal cover that goes over it right here. It just goes all the way down here, all the way down the side. So this is how I ran the power cable. So I mean, this is my power cable, this is my cable for my computer, my main cable, and then this is just a little just a power wire for my transmission cooler that's underneath the car. So sorry, that was probably making you sick. That was weird. It was in a spot that it didn't like. And then I just ran my power cable up here and just ran it to a bulkhead fitting. I don't know if you can see it right here, back here in the back. There's a bulkhead fitting, and I just drilled a hole through the firewall and ran the cable in there. So on the other side of that, it's just going down to my starter. So I'll take a walk around that side and I'll show you where it came through. You can't really see it. I've been trying to figure out how to kind of hide all this stuff, but yet still keep it safe. Okay, so here I am back out front, and I don't know if you can see it very well, but it's kind of hidden down here in the back, and there's where it comes to the bulkhead fitting, and then it's just dropping down, just dropping straight down, and it's gonna go underneath and right over. I don't know if you can see it right here. This is it going right through to the starter. And I do have some high temp sheathing that I'm going to go ahead and put on it, and so that's how I have my battery cable routed. And then I'll move around. I'm actually working on my wiring, started on my wiring on the headlights, so I figured I'd drag the headlight harness through. So I drug it. I can't even see with all this crap in here. So I drug the headlight harness right there, right through the firewall. Just drilled a little hole. I'm going to stick I have a grommet. There's a grommet on it right here. I'm going to go ahead and put that grommet in there. And so that's where I ran my harness. And then I'm trying to hide all this stuff. So I have this is my harness right here. And what I did is I just tacked a couple of brackets, one here, one up here, and then one back here. And I just came through back here with my wiring, and it's just gonna sit right in this lip, this fender well lip. I don't know if you guys can see it, but this fender well lip on these cars is big. And you know, I was thinking about trying to figure out, you know, if I wanted to go ahead and attach it like to the inner, you know, fender well or something like that. And I just kind of started looking at that lip and thinking, man, that's a gigantic, big V-shaped lip all the way along the inside of that fender. The only thing I was kind of wondering about is it going to get water in there that might stay in there or anything like that? But for right now, this is what I'm going to do. If I have to go back and redo it later, I guess I'll go back and redo it later. But right now, I'm just kind of moving forward. So as you can see up here, I have the harness separated. I've got my driver's side wires running there, the coiled up wires. Let me walk around this side. The little coil here of wire, this is for my fan relay. So I don't know, I'm just little by little, I've got my wire just run across the middle, just kind of setting everything in there. The green wire is the horn wire. Just kind of moving along, just trying to, you know, get something done and just kind of keep moving so that maybe one day this thing will run. So for right now, that's about where I'm at. So wiring it is, and I'm just little by little working at trying to, you know, get some clips, you know, clip the stuff up, keep it away from anything, make sure it's secure, make sure it's not going to be flopping around. So that's all I'm doing, working on wiring. So I'll be back, show you some more. Okay, I'm having fun playing with the GoPro. Like I said, I welded some tabs in here. Here's my harness, put a ground here, and I attached my wires to my headlight, to my parking lights, and I came down underneath here, came across, got my wire for my horn plugged in, and I use these magnetic wire clips. If I can, I'll see if I can find a link. I don't know if you guys can see that very good, but all these are is just little tiny plastic clips, but they have really strong magnets on them. So then, like when I came over here, this is a different type. You put a zip tie through it. But again, these magnets, these are really strong magnets. Came over on this side, did the same thing. It's not real tough. Here's my parking light, my headlight. This is the headlight harness, and just attach the wires. Here's a clamp. I just found a bolt and just put a clamp on the bolt to hold it all together. So that's what I'm doing. I'm just continuing on wiring little by little. I have the wire for the fan, which is over here. I just put some of this harness insulation over it, and I just kind of left it sitting here. These two wires, these are the wires from my fan, power and ground off of my fan. I have an electric fan. So I'm gonna have to look at grabbing a relay and putting a relay in there and getting that set up. But what I was gonna do is I was gonna go in the car, hook up my power probe, and see if I could test and see if I can get any light out of my park lights and my headlights. So I'm gonna get everything set up and I'll be back. Okay, I'm back. I'm kind of screwing around. I have my power probe hooked up. I don't know if you guys have ever seen these. This is a power probe. I don't know what the heck version of it is, but they're pretty cool. What you do is you take them, they have a really long cord, and what you do is you take them and you hook them up to your battery. So you just clip there, and then you have, ooh, that was good. Have to see if I can't edit that out. But anyway, so you have the power probe here, and what you do is with your power probe, anytime you touch a wire, you can check, you can flip this down and check if it's a good ground, or you can push up and you can put voltage. If you see it says 12.3, that's the voltage that's in my battery. So it'll put 12.3 volts to this tip. So what I'm gonna do is I've looked through these wires, and this is my headlight group, and I found my front parking wire. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just take this and see if I can do this with the camera and no hands, and I'm just gonna take my power probe and I'm gonna touch it to this wire, and it tells me it has conductivity. It tells me it's good right away when I touch it, and it's gonna sit there and beep. Let me see if I can shut the beep off. There we go. I got the beep shut off. So I'm touching the tip behind the camera here to the wire, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna push up on this, and I'm gonna send 12 volts through this wire. And I don't know if you can see, but my parking lights are coming on. So give me a second. I was gonna see if I can find my headlights, my headlight wire. So I know that they're a brown and a green. I think these would be them. Let me set the camera down here for a minute. I know it's kind of a pain in the butt. I'm trying to read what's on these wires. So yeah, what I've got is I'm in my headlight group, and I've got a brown and a green wire, which I know because I just wired them up in here. So I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna hold these wires, I'm gonna touch the tip of the power probe to it, and I've got a green indication, which means it's a good circuit, and I'm gonna go ahead and give it some power. And there you go, my headlights are on. Those are the low beams, and then I'm gonna try the high beams. I don't know if you'll be able to tell, but those are the high beams. So both of my wiring circuits or wiring jobs that I've done correctly. And that's one way you can use this thing. All I was doing is just touching this tip to the end of the wire, and then I was pressing up on this little rocker button, pressing up, and it shows that I'm putting 12.26 volts through it. So like I said, this is a really cool tool. I just turned the beeper, the tone off. You can turn the tone on and off. There's a bunch of stuff you can do with this thing. These meters are really cool. They have a light on them, so it kind of helps you if you're testing things in the dark. And I mean, these are really beautiful units. I'm not sponsored by Power Probe. I don't even really know how to use it. I know the basics. I know the ground and I know the power. And I know that when you touch this tip to something, it will turn green if it's a good circuit. I don't know if you put it to a ground, I believe what it'll do is it'll turn on the other light. Or if you put it to a power, it will definitely turn on the other light if it senses something with power when you touch it. So it tells you whether it's hot or ground with lights right on the probe as soon as you touch to a wire, a fuse, or to anything else. So really cool tool to have. I'll go back here again, back in the trunk, and I'll see if I can show you guys. So here is my power, and so if I touch it to power, it's going to show me a red light and 12 volts. If I touch it to ground, it's going to show me a green light. So that's going to tell me it's a ground. So really cool tool to have. So I'm going to keep moving on. I'm going to look at putting in my relay back here. I've got a relay for my fuel pump, and look at how I'm going to get my fuel pump wires from underneath. I've got them right underneath here. Probably drill a hole and grab a grommet, and I'm going to start working on hooking that up. So I'll be back. Okay, hey everybody. I've been talking about my battery, been talking about my wiring, getting started on those, and I'm just gonna end this here. I don't really know. I don't want to continue putting you guys through the pain of showing you wiring. So I'm just gonna go ahead and end this video here. I'm gonna continue on with my wiring and try to get everything wired up. And wiring to me is like a puzzle. Not the most fun in the world. I can't say that I hate it. It's a learning experience. This is the first time I have ever rewired a car. So I'm just going to continue on wiring, trying to make it look good, but the Terminator harness is big and it's got a lot of extra kind of wire where I put it. If you look at where I've got it, I mean, I've got the engine here. I've got the harness running right down here through the firewall and right inside. So of course, Holly makes the harnesses long enough so that you have a little bit of extra room, so that you can take your wires where you want to take them rather than having to try to extend the harness. So I'm going to end the video here, and I'm going to continue wiring and try to stay on track on this so that I can get this thing running. I hope all you guys have a great day. I hope everything's going great in everybody's lives. Like and subscribe, and I'll be back with something else hopefully soon. Have a good day.